The breaking point. The crystalline spires of Nova Station pierced the eternal night of deep space, their iridescent surfaces reflecting the light of distant stars. Inside the Grand Assembly Chamber, Ambassador Sarah Chen stood before the Xenon Collective's High Council, her dark eyes fixed on the towering alien figures that loomed above her. 20 years of diplomatic service had taught her to keep her expression neutral, even as fury burned in her chest. "The terms are non-negotiable, Ambassador," First Speaker Vex Thor announced, his phosphorescent skin pulsing with patterns of dominance and authority. "Your species' rapid technological advancement poses an unacceptable risk to galactic stability. The containment protocols will be implemented immediately." Sarah's hand tightened imperceptibly on the ceremonial staff of office. "The collective's concerns are noted, First Speaker. However, humanity has complied with every previous restriction, shared our medical breakthroughs freely, and contributed to the greater good of all spacefaring species. These new measures amount to nothing less than enslavement." Murmurs rippled through the chamber as representatives of 100 alien species shifted in their gravity pods. Some showed signs of discomfort, others of smug satisfaction. The Xenon Collective had ruled space for 10,000 years, and they weren't about to let the upstart humans change that. "Your kind achieved faster than light travel barely a century ago." Second Speaker Zalra clicked, her chitinous mandibles clacking with disdain. "Yet already you push against the natural order. The new protocols will ensure humanity remains properly positioned within our civilization." Sarah allowed herself a small smile. "And if we refuse, then the collective's enforcement fleet will ensure compliance." Vex Thor's skin flashed with patterns of finality. "Your colonies will be quarantined. Your ships will be impounded. Your research facilities will be supervised." "This is not a negotiation, Ambassador. It is a notification." "I see." Sarah's voice remained steady as she reached into her pocket and withdrew a small quantum communicator. "Then you leave us no choice." Before any of the council members could react, she pressed the device's single button. Across human space, hidden facilities hummed to life. In the depths of gas giants, beneath the ice of frozen moons, and in the heart of asteroid fields, doors that had never appeared on any official registry began to open. "What are you doing?" Vex Thor demanded, his skin now pulsing with alarm. "Exactly what you forced us to do," Sarah replied, her smile growing wider. "For decades, you thought you were containing us, controlling us, keeping us weak. But with every new restriction, every new demand, you just taught us to be more creative, to think differently, to prepare." The chamber's emergency displays flared to life, showing impossible readings. Ships were appearing throughout collective space. Vessels that shouldn't exist, using technology that shouldn't be possible. The humans had hidden their true capabilities in plain sight, building a secret fleet right under the collective's nose. In high orbit above Earth, Fleet Admiral Helena Rodriguez watched as Operation Prometheus went live. Thousands of stealth ships dropped their quantum camouflage, revealing designs that made the collective's finest vessels look primitive by comparison. They had spent 20 years preparing for this moment, and now it was time to show the galaxy why you should never back humans into a corner. "This is Admiral Rodriguez to all ships," she broadcast on an open channel. "Execute Phase 1. Remember your training. Minimal casualties, maximum impact. Let's show them what humanity can really do." Back in the council chamber, Sarah watched as the mighty Xenon Collective realized just how badly they had miscalculated. "You thought fear would keep us in line," she said, her voice carrying to every corner of the vast room. "Instead, it made us stronger. You thought restrictions would keep us weak. Instead, they forced us to innovate in ways you never imagined. You cannot." Vex Thor's skin had gone almost white with shock. "We already have," Sarah interrupted. "Right now, human ships are moving into position around every major collective military installation. Our quantum field generators are neutralizing your defensive systems. Our stealth tech is making your sensors useless. And this is just the beginning. The chamber erupted into chaos as more reports flooded in. The humans had hidden their true technological level so well that the collective had no defense against it. Their mighty fleets were being systematically disabled without a single shot being fired. Their impregnable fortresses were being bypassed as if they didn't exist. "This is impossible," Zalra screeched. "We monitored everything. Every research facility, every shipyard, every colony. You monitored what we wanted you to monitor," Sarah replied calmly. "You watched our decoy facilities while our real work happened elsewhere. You tracked our official ships while we built our true fleet in secret. You thought you were the teachers, but we were the ones learning how to hide, how to prepare, and most importantly, how to win." As alarms continued to blare throughout Nova Station, Sarah took a step forward, her voice carrying the weight of 2 decades of carefully controlled anger. "The age of the Tsinan Collective's unchallenged dominance is over. We're willing to talk about a new arrangement, one based on mutual respect and genuine cooperation. But first, you're going to learn what happens when you push humanity too far." She turned to leave, then paused at the chamber's massive doors. "Oh, and those containment protocols you mentioned. I suggest you worry less about containing us and more about what we're about to unleash. The galaxy is about to change." First speaker. "The only question is whether the Tsinan Collective will change with it, or be left behind in the new order that's coming." As Sarah walked away, leaving the stunned council to grapple with their new reality, she allowed herself a moment of satisfaction. Humanity had been patient, had played the long game, had absorbed every restriction and insult while preparing in secret. Now it was time to show the galaxy why that patience had been so dangerous. The real war was just beginning, and humanity was done playing by anyone else's rules. Project Phoenix Rising. Deep beneath the Martian surface, in a facility that officially didn't exist, Dr. Marcus Wright stood before a holographic display that filled the cavernous laboratory. The quantum core pulsed with a soft blue light, its impossible geometries defying conventional physics. 20 years of secret research had led to this moment, and now it was time to show the galaxy what humanity had achieved. "Status report." He called out to his team, each scientist positioned at their stations around the massive underground complex. The facility, carved into the heart of Olympus Mons, represented humanity's greatest technological achievement and its best-kept secret. Quantum field generators operating at peak efficiency, Dr. Yuki Tanaka responded, her fingers dancing across holographic controls. The collective's monitoring satellites still show nothing but routine mining operations. Marcus allowed himself a grim smile. The deception had been perfect. While the Tsinan Collective watched their decoy research facilities, the real work had happened in places they never thought to look. Every restriction they had placed on human technology had only pushed them to think more creatively, to find solutions that the aliens had never considered possible. "Director Wright," a voice came through his neural link. "The ambassador has sent the signal. Operation Prometheus is live." "Understood." Marcus turned to address the gathered scientists and engineers. "This is what we've prepared for. 20 years of working in the shadows, of hiding our true capabilities, ends today. Initiate full quantum core activation." The chamber hummed with power as systems that defied conventional physics came online. The collective had thought they understood human technology, had thought their restrictions would keep humanity contained. They had no idea that their every attempt at control had only driven human innovation further. "Sir, we're receiving telemetry from the fleet," Lieutenant Sarah Hayes reported. "The quantum shields are performing beyond expectations. Collective weapons can't even detect them, let alone penetrate them." On the main display, Marcus watched as humanity's hidden fleet revealed itself across the galaxy. Ships equipped with technology that the collective had deemed impossible emerged from their secret berths. The aliens had expected to find primitive vessels with basic shields and conventional weapons. Instead, they faced ships that could phase through solid matter, that could manipulate gravity itself, that could appear and disappear at will. "Dr. Wright, Yuki called out, excitement clear in her voice. The quantum network is stable. All ships are linked and coordinating perfectly. This had been the true breakthrough, not just advanced technology, but a fundamental reimagining of how it could work. While the collective had focused on controlling humanity's development along predictable lines, Marcus and his team had pursued paths that the aliens had never even considered. They thought they were watching everything we did, Marcus said, more to himself than to his team. They never realized that their own arrogance made them blind. Every time they told us something was impossible, we found a way to prove them wrong. The facility's quantum core pulsed brighter as it coordinated with identical installations hidden throughout human space. Each one represented a different breakthrough, a different way of circumventing the collective's restrictions. Together, they formed a network of power that would change the balance of the galaxy forever. "Sir," Hayes interrupted, "we're receiving a priority transmission from Fleet Admiral Rodriguez. The collective's defense networks are falling exactly as predicted. Their shields can't adapt to our quantum field disruption." Marcus nodded, watching as decades of preparation paid off. The collective had built their dominance on technological superiority, never imagining that a primitive species could surpass them. They had assumed that by controlling humanity's official research, they could prevent any major breakthroughs. "Begin Phase 2, he ordered. "Show them exactly what we've been working on while they weren't looking." Across human space, hidden facilities activated technologies that the collective had thought impossible. Quantum shields that could absorb any attack. Drives that could ignore the normal laws of physics. Weapons that could disable enemy ships without destroying them. Each breakthrough represented years of secret research, of humans pushing beyond what their supposed superiors thought possible. "Dr. Wright," Yuki called out, "the collective is attempting to analyze our quantum fields. Their sensors, they can't even comprehend what they're seeing." "Of course they can't," Marcus replied, allowing himself a moment of pride. "They've spent 10,000 years thinking inside the same box. We just proved there isn't a box at all." On his neural display, Marcus watched as humanity's plans unfolded across the galaxy. The collective's mighty fleets found themselves helpless against technology they couldn't understand. Their sensors were blind to ships that could manipulate reality itself. Their weapons were useless against defenses that operated on principles they had never considered. "Sir," Hayes reported, "we're receiving requests for surrender from multiple collective installations. They're asking how we did this." Marcus thought back to all the years of secret work, of scientists and engineers pushing the boundaries of what was possible while maintaining a facade of compliance. The collective had thought they were dealing with students who needed to be controlled. Instead, they had created teachers who were about to reshape their understanding of the universe. "Send them our standard response," he instructed. "Tell them that humanity is ready to share our advances, once they understand that partnership is better than control." As the quantum core continued its perfect operation, coordinating humanity's response across thousands of light years, Marcus reflected on the irony of the situation. The collective's attempt to contain humanity had led directly to their own obsolescence. They had tried to keep humanity in a cage, never realizing they were helping to forge the key to their own undoing. "Begin documentation of all systems," he ordered his team. "It's time to show the galaxy what happens when you try to limit human potential. The age of secrets is over. Now it's time for the age of revelation." The first strike. Fleet Commander Diana Torres stood on the bridge of the HSS Artemis, watching as her stealth fleet materialized around the collective's primary shipyards at Nexus Prime. The massive orbital facilities had been the symbol of the collective's military might for centuries. Now they were about to become the symbol of their vulnerability. "All ships report ready, Commander," Captain Michael Chen announced from his tactical station. "Quantum fields are stable and synchronized. The collective still hasn't detected our presence." Diana allowed herself a small smile. The aliens had spent generations building these shipyards, making them supposedly impregnable. They had never imagined that humans would find a way to simply ignore their defenses entirely. "Send the message," she ordered. "Let's give them one chance to do this the easy way." The communication burst out on all frequencies, translated into every major galactic language. "Attention Nexus Prime Command. This is Fleet Commander Torres of the Human Defense Force. Your facilities are surrounded by 200 ships that your sensors cannot detect. Power down your defenses and prepare for peaceful occupation. You have 5 minutes to comply." The response was predictable. Nexus Prime's defensive grid came alive, energy weapons charging and shield generators humming to life. The Collective's garrison commander appeared on the main view screen, his crystalline form radiating arrogance. "Your primitive deceptions do not fool us, human," he declared. "Our sensors show no ships in this sector. Your empty threats will not." Diana cut the transmission with a gesture. "They never learn, do they? Execute Phase 1. Across her fleet, quantum disruptors activated. The technology, developed in secret beneath Europa's ice sheets, didn't try to overpower the Collected shields. It simply rewrote the laws of physics in their vicinity, making them irrelevant. Target their weapon emplacements," Diana ordered. "Non-lethal takedowns only. We're here to prove a point, not start a massacre." The Artemis's tactical display showed the carefully choreographed dance as human ships executed their mission with perfect precision. Vessels that the Collective couldn't even detect slipped through their impenetrable defenses, precise quantum pulses disabling weapon systems and shield generators without causing any casualties. "Commander," Captain Chen reported, "their garrison fleet is launching. 30 capital ships, over 100 support vessels." Diana nodded, watching as the Collected ships moved into textbook defensive formations. Under normal circumstances, it would have been an impressive show of force. Against what humanity had developed, it was almost pitiful. "Implement containment protocols," she ordered. "Show them what those restrictions of theirs made us create." The human fleet moved with impossible coordination, their quantum-linked AI battle networks allowing them to act as a single organism. Collective ships found themselves trapped in localized quantum fields that negated their engines. Their weapons fired uselessly through space that seemed to twist around their targets. Their communications were isolated, leaving each ship alone and helpless. "Status report," Diana called out, though she could see the results clearly enough on her tactical displays. "All Collective vessels have been neutralized," Chen responded. "No casualties. Minimal damage to their ships. The shipyards are defenseless." Diana opened a channel to the garrison commander. His crystalline form had lost much of its earlier arrogance. "Now then," she said calmly, "shall we discuss the terms of your surrender?" "This is impossible," the commander stammered. "Our technology, our sensors, how did you?" "You spent so long telling us what we couldn't do," Diana replied, "that you never noticed what we were actually doing. Every restriction you placed on us just forced us to think differently, to find solutions you never imagined." As her teams began securing the shipyards, Diana received reports from similar operations across Collective space. Humanity's hidden fleets were systematically neutralizing the aliens' military capabilities, all without causing a single death. It was a demonstration of power that would reshape the galaxy's understanding of what humans were capable of. "Commander," Chen interrupted, "we're receiving surrender signals from multiple Collective installations in neighboring sectors. Word of what happened here is spreading fast." Diana wasn't surprised. The Collective had built their authority on the assumption of technological superiority. Now that illusion was being shattered, and the ripple effects would be felt throughout galactic civilization. "Send word to all surrendering facilities," she ordered. "Their cooperation will be remembered. This isn't about revenge. It's about creating a new balance, one where humanity doesn't have to hide its potential anymore." Looking out at the massive shipyards, Diana thought about the years of preparation that had led to this moment. The Collective had thought they were keeping humanity safe in a carefully controlled box. Instead, they had created the conditions for their own obsolescence. "Begin Phase 2, she commanded. It's time to show the galaxy that humanity is ready to lead by example. Let's show them what cooperation looks like when it's based on mutual respect instead of fear. As her fleet secured their first major victory, Diana knew this was just the beginning. The collective was about to learn that their greatest mistake hadn't been trying to control humanity. It had been giving humans the time and motivation to surpass them entirely. "Send word to command," she ordered. "Nexus Prime is secured. The dawn of a new era begins here." The tide turns. The observation deck of the diplomatic vessel Unity offered a perfect view of history unfolding. James Carter watched as representatives from 30 different species filed into the conference room below, their varied forms a testament to the galaxy's diversity. Just days ago, these same species had been firmly under the collective's control. Now they were seeking alliance with humanity. "Quite a change from our last diplomatic gathering," Ambassador Chen said, joining him at the window. She looked different now, carrying herself with the confidence of someone who no longer needed to hide her strength. "The collective's grip on power was always built on fear," James replied, adjusting his formal diplomatic robes. "Once we proved they weren't invincible, it was inevitable that others would start questioning their authority." Below, the delegates were taking their places around the massive conference table. Some species James recognized from his years of diplomatic service: the crystalline axorans, the gaseous veil, the insectoid kith. Others were from worlds that had previously been forbidden from direct contact with humanity. "The collective's representatives have arrived," his AI assistant informed him through his neural link. "They're requesting to enter the conference." James exchanged a look with Sarah. "Let them in," he decided. "They should see exactly what their actions have created." The collective delegation entered the chamber, their once proud bearing notably subdued. First speaker Vexthor's skin patterns showed stress and uncertainty, a far cry from the domineering displays of just days ago. "Shall we begin?" James asked, taking his place at the head of the table. The symbolism wasn't lost on anyone. For the first time in living memory, the collective's representatives were not in the position of authority. "Before we proceed," Vexthor began, his voice lacking its usual resonance, "we demand to know how humans achieve this level of technological advancement without detection." A ripple of clicking, whistling, and electromagnetic pulses, the various species' expressions of agreement, filled the chamber. They all wanted to know how humanity had managed to hide such power for so long. "The answer is simple," James replied, activating the room's holographic display. "You gave us the perfect cover, your own arrogance." The display showed images of human space, the official research facilities that the collective had monitored so carefully, the regulated shipyards they had inspected regularly, the controlled colonies they had watched so closely. "While you focused on what you expected to see," James continued, "we built our real facilities in places you never thought to look. Under ice sheets, inside gas giants, within dimensional pockets your sensors couldn't detect. Every restriction you placed on us just taught us to be more creative in hiding our work." "Impossible," one of the collective scientists declared. "Our monitoring systems were based on your understanding of physics," James interrupted. "We simply found ways to work outside those parameters. You thought you were containing us, but you were actually forcing us to evolve beyond your limitations." The chamber erupted in a cacophony of alien communication as the implications sank in. The collective hadn't just failed to contain humanity. They had inadvertently pushed them to achieve things that should have been impossible. "And now," James continued once the noise had died down, "we're offering something the collective never did: genuine partnership. No restrictions, no controls, just open exchange of knowledge and technology." The effect was immediate. Species that had suffered under the collective's restrictions for generations saw an opportunity for genuine advancement. Even those that had benefited from the old system could see which way the wind was blowing. "The human fleet that secured our sector," an Axoran representative chimed in, their crystalline form vibrating with excitement. "They disabled our most advanced defenses as if they didn't exist. Yet they caused no casualties, No unnecessary destruction. Because this isn't about revenge or domination, James explained. It's about creating a new order, one based on cooperation rather than control. He gestured, and the holographic display shifted to show the new technologies humanity was offering to share: quantum field manipulation, dimensional engineering, consciousness-linked AI networks, advances that would transform life throughout the galaxy. All we ask in return is a commitment to mutual respect and peaceful cooperation, James concluded. No more artificial restrictions, no more enforced hierarchies, every species free to develop at their own pace, with access to whatever knowledge they're ready to use responsibly. The chamber fell silent as the delegates considered the offer. James could see the calculations happening behind alien eyes and sensory organs, the weighing of risks against potential rewards. The collective's way is ended, the Veil representative announced, their gaseous form swirling with decisive patterns. We support the human proposal. One by one, other species added their agreement. Even some of the collective's oldest allies could see that resistance was pointless. Humanity had proven itself too powerful to ignore, too advanced to control, and too merciful to fear. First speaker, James addressed Vex Thor directly. The collective is welcome to join this new alliance as equals. The choice is yours. Adapt to the new reality, or be left behind by it. As the delegates began discussing the practical details of the transition, James returned to the observation window. The view of space was different now, no longer a realm controlled by ancient powers, but a frontier open to all species ready to embrace change. They still don't fully understand what happened, do they? Sarah asked quietly, joining him again. James shook his head. They thought they were gods playing with fire. They never realized they were actually teaching the fire how to burn brighter than they ever imagined possible. A new dawn. 1 year after humanity revealed its true power, the galaxy had changed beyond recognition. The massive central chamber of the newly constructed Unity Station hummed with activity as representatives from over 200 species gathered for the first anniversary of the Galactic Concordat. Where the collective had once ruled through fear and restriction, a new era of cooperation and shared advancement had begun. Admiral Helena Rodriguez stood at the observation deck, watching ships from dozens of species moving through the quantum gates that now connected the galaxy's major systems. The technology that humanity had developed in secret was already transforming interstellar travel, making the old hyperspace routes obsolete. Quite a view, isn't it? Dr. Marcus Wright joined her, his research uniform now bearing the insignia of the United Species Science Division. Sometimes I still can't believe how much has changed in just 1 year. The collective gave us decades to prepare, Helena replied, and we used every minute of it. But I don't think anyone expected the aftermath to unfold quite like this. Below them, in the main chamber, species that had once been bitter rivals were now working together on joint research projects. The quantum technology that humanity had perfected had opened up entirely new fields of study, and the spirit of cooperation was yielding results that surprised even the humans. Ambassador Chen's transport is approaching, Helena's AI assistant reported through her neural link. The last of the holdout collective worlds have finally agreed to join the Concordat. It was the final piece falling into place. While most of the galaxy had quickly embraced the new order, a few collective strongholds had resisted change. Not through military might. Humanity's technological superiority had made that impossible, but through political and economic isolation. Now, even they had seen the benefits of cooperation. Sarah Chen entered the observation deck, looking satisfied. It's official, she announced. The last collective worlds have signed the accords. The old order is truly finished. How did the first speaker take it? Marcus asked, referring to Vex Thor, who had once been the most powerful being in the galaxy. Better than you might expect, Sarah replied. I think the past year has been enlightening for them. Seeing how much progress is possible when species work together instead of trying to control each other. It's changed a lot of minds. The three of them watched as a group of young Axorans demonstrated their latest innovation, a fusion of human quantum technology with their own crystalline computing. The result was something entirely new, something that neither species could have achieved alone. That's what the collective never understood, Marcus observed. They thought keeping species separate and controlled was the key to stability. They never imagined what could be achieved through genuine cooperation. Through the massive windows, they could see the giant quantum cores that powered the station pulsing with a soft blue light. Similar cores now orbited hundreds of worlds, providing clean energy and advanced computing capabilities to species that had once been deliberately kept in technological darkness. Commander Tor's report just came in, Helena's AI informed her. The last of the old collective military installations have been converted to research stations. Their weapons are being repurposed for peaceful applications. Hard to believe there was almost a war, Sarah mused. If they had just tried to understand us instead of control us, would we have achieved what we did without their restrictions? Marcus wondered aloud. Being forced to think differently, to work in secret, to find solutions they couldn't imagine. It shaped everything we created. A soft chime announced the beginning of the anniversary ceremony. In the main chamber, representatives from hundreds of worlds gathered to celebrate not just the end of the old order, but the beginning of something new, something better. Distinguished representatives, Sarah began her address, her voice carrying to every corner of the vast chamber. 1 year ago, humanity emerged from the shadows to show the galaxy what we had achieved. We didn't do this to establish a new dominion, but to prove that there was a better way forward. The assembled delegates listened intently, their varied forms a testament to the diversity that the collective had tried to suppress. Now that diversity was becoming a source of strength as different species combined their unique perspectives and abilities. In just 1 year, Sarah continued, we have seen advances that the old order would have thought impossible. Not because any one species is superior, but because we finally learned to work together as equals. The quantum technology that humanity developed in secret is now evolving in ways that even we never imagined, thanks to the contributions of all our partners. Holographic displays showed the progress. New medical treatments that combined human quantum manipulation with veil energy healing. Transportation systems that merged Axoran crystal tech with human AI networks. Agricultural breakthroughs that used Kith biological understanding with human quantum field control. The galaxy entered a new age not because humanity proved stronger, Sarah concluded, but because we proved that strength doesn't have to mean dominance. Real power comes from cooperation, from sharing knowledge, from lifting each other up instead of holding each other down. As the chamber erupted in approval, Helena smiled. You know, she said to Marcus, I almost feel sorry for the collective. They spent so long trying to prevent exactly this scenario. And in doing so, they'd made it inevitable, Marcus replied. Every restriction, every control, every attempt to keep us down just pushed us to become something beyond their understanding. The celebration continued as species that had once been enemies now worked together to forge a future that none of them could have achieved alone. Humanity had risen not just to replace the old powers, but to create something entirely new. A galaxy where potential was limited only by imagination, not by artificial restrictions. In the end, the collective's greatest fear had come true, but not in the way they had imagined. Humanity hadn't disrupted the galactic order through conquest or destruction, but by showing that there was a better way. They had turned centuries of oppression into the foundation for an age of unprecedented cooperation and advancement. As the quantum cores pulsed with energy, lighting up the night side of the station like a new sun, it was clear to everyone that this truly was a new dawn for all species. The galaxy had changed forever. And for once, change meant hope instead of fear.